Cyberpunk Edgerunners. It's only 10 episodes, but does it live up to the hype? In this review of this anime that appears on Netflix, I'm going to talk about my feelings while watching this anime, any characters that I connected with, the storyline, the genre that it falls into, and also my emotions and how I felt. Also, I'm going to be giving it some ratings. So, would I would I let a newbie watch this? I don't know. But I will say some of the scenes are unforgettable and will send you over the moon. What? Let's talk about it. Hey, it's Miss Slay. Look, today we're going to be talking about the anime series that you can find on Netflix called Cyberpunk. This anime was suggested to me by someone that I met on TikTok, and they wrote up under one of my other videos to give it a try. So I did. I did a smaller video on TikTok on the first episode, but now that I've watched all 10 episodes, I'm ready to give a full just breakdown and review on what I thought about Cyberpunk. So let's get into it, okay? So I wrote down a couple of questions that I think somebody that might be new to anime or somebody that may be a veteran to anime, that these are some questions that they may ask. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. Okay, so the first question that I feel like somebody would ask, and this is what I'm judging this anime by, because I'm also going to give a 1 to 10 like score on what I thought about it. But the first one is genre. Okay, so Cyberpunk, I believe, falls into more of a sci-fi, adventure, and action genre. A little bit heavy on the sci-fi. When you think about Cyberpunk, think about Matrix. That's basically what I kind of concluded to. But the main character, David, he's not like your Neo. I mean, I guess he could be in some ways, but it doesn't fall into like Neo's character when it comes to Matrix. And if you haven't watched Matrix, shame on you, okay? But anyway, so let me talk about the storyline, just give a rough draft of it. So basically, David, he is a teenager. He goes to this private school that his mother is paying for. I believe she's like a paramedic or something like that. But she's working hard to keep him in that school because that school is basically meant for people that have money. The world that they live in, which I think the city name is like Night City or something like that. I'll write it on the side if I'm wrong about that. But um yeah, actually, yes, I got it right. Night City um is basically like a slum type of city. It's a lot going on in this anime. They do have some, not some, I feel like a lot of sexual references, especially in the first 3 episodes, maybe the first 2. So if you do have children that can come in and out of a room, or you're watching around people that may not be comfortable with sexual sounds and things, you might want to watch this when you're by yourself. But anyway, so the main character, David, mom, ends up passing away due to a car accident. Well, he later finds out that his mom was in some type of, I guess, like black market. And because she was a paramedic, anybody that had any tech on them, a lot of times she would scoop that up, resell it on the black market, or really sell it to I guess you would call it like a clan of people called cyberpunks, and get the money so she can help pay for David's schooling, right? Because David and his mom doesn't come from a lot of money when she passed away, insurance and how the insurance works in this anime is actually kind of like, I don't know, it's like it's kind of creepy in a way, because it's almost kind of like where society, I feel like, in the United States now is going. But anyway, I don't want to get too political, but the type of insurance you have justifies what kind of care they're going to give you even when you die. And because they were in the lower grade and couldn't afford a certain insurance, he wasn't even able to see his mother when she passed away. So David went through a lot of trauma, a lot of trauma, like too much trauma. You know what I mean? And when he finds out what his mom was doing to help him stay in school, which he ends up getting kicked out of, he finds out from the cyberpunks, and then he goes through a whole scenario with them, like becoming friends with them. Um, the cyber tech that his mom, the last one that she was gonna, I guess, sell, he ended up keeping it for himself. So that's how he got in touch with the rest of the cyberpunks. I'm trying not to give too many details, but he ends up meeting characters such as Rebecca, Maine, Lucy, who is a love interest for him in this anime. But overall, to me, this anime, it did have action, but I'm used to a different type of action, like martial arts action. Um, so I will say it's a little bit blood gory. I'm not like, I guess it doesn't like really bother me if it's blood gory, but it's got to be a certain type of blood gory. You know what I mean? And this one for me was just like, okay, your regular schmegler, blood gore. The way they did the animation of like when they shoot people and it just like splatting everywhere. That was actually kind of cool. And I did hear that this anime is based or has a video game or is based off a video game. Don't quote me on that. Okay. But um I the character David, I really couldn't get into the character. A lot of times when I watch animes, that I have to connect with a character. And I feel like in this anime, I did not connect with any characters. And this is another thing that I'm judging this by, the storyline and now the characters as well as the genre. But I didn't connect with any of the characters. I didn't see myself in any of the characters. And I'm not sure why, but the story is very sad. It's a sad story. And I feel like David, who is the main protagonist in this anime, ends up undermining himself and maybe things that he possibly could have done just because he wanted to live up to what other people wanted for him and he wanted to live those out first. So I think he ended up undermining his own judgment, and that may or may not have led to his demise. I'm not sure, but it's a very sad story, and I kind of wanted to see David grow more in a positive way rather than in a more, I guess, negative way. I would say David was a product of his environment. And in this anime, it definitely shows. I am very happy, though, to see that David came across people that he enjoyed and kind of gave him a little life, like his love interest, Lucy. She also came from a not so good background. And so they shared that. So, they say like, uh, misery loves company. I feel like that's kind of what happened. But they also were trying to find a happy place, and Lucy had her happy place and where she wanted to go. I feel like David he didn't have that for himself, so that may have led him down to just be more sacrificial than having purpose in life. Um, but yeah, the last thing that I judged this by was, would I recommend this to someone? Now, I will say watching this anime definitely made me realize what type of genres I like. So I'm really more into like historical action, but when it comes to like martial arts action, spiritual, and like romance and comedy. Those, a little bit of adventure too, and fantasy as well. But I am really not into sci-fi, especially if it's a little bit heavy on sci-fi or stories that, don't have that, somewhat, I guess you could say like fairy tale ending, maybe. So to me personally, depending on like the person and what they're looking for, honestly, this wouldn't be one that I recommend to anybody to watch. I would probably pull for something else like let me see. The Devil May Cry. That one's pretty good. I would actually watch the second season of that one. I don't know if you've seen Devil May Cry, but that's a one that is on Netflix as well. But this one I wouldn't. Also, too, the way this one ended, I honestly don't see it coming back for a second season. Like I don't. And maybe that's why it connects so well with a video game, because maybe the video game is quote unquote that second season. But to me, it was like, no, no bueno. No bueno. It wasn't very good. It wasn't very good to me. Um, it's, yeah, I just didn't connect with it. And honestly, if it came back with a second season, I wouldn't jump to be like, oh, let me see what the second season about. This is one that if I had nothing else to watch and I just watched all the anime that I'm really into and it just happened to be on, then I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna watch it, you know. But other than that, I wouldn't watch it again. So when it comes to ratings, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, I would put this honestly at like a 5.5, 6. And the 6 is being, to me, a little generous. But I only believe that because it's just not my type of genre. It's just not my type of feel. And I'm not a big gamer. So I feel like if somebody's a big gamer as well, they would absolutely love this. Possibly. It also gives like a Grand Theft Auto feel to it as well. You know what I mean? So I think they would probably love it. So I really feel like it depends on what the person's looking for. But for me, if you're the type of person that likes what I like, which is anime like Demon Slayer or Apothecary Diaries or Sakamoto Days or Solo Leveling, I feel like this one would, it's different, but I feel like it would bore you in some ways because it's like, oh, typical story. You know what I mean? Somebody that is a product of their environment. Also, too, the brain dancing that they would watch. I feel like him watching other people die and with the brain dancing, and if you watch it, then you'll know what I'm talking about. I feel like that also honed in on them too, and they also would turn into cyber psychos as well. Like these people would flip the fuck out, okay, when they turn into a cyber psycho. But I also believe people that turn into cyber psychos had a lot of trauma as well. And the trauma being too, they would replace their body parts, like real body parts, with machinery. And that's a lot of trauma on the body. But if you also got a lot of trauma in the mind, you're gonna go crazy. And the machine is gonna take completely over and you're not gonna even know who you are. You know what I mean? It's just like, this not for me. This not for me. I need something that's a little bit more kung fu, a little bit more spiritual, and just a little bit more like comedy. Like that's just my opinion. But anyway, have you seen Cyberpunk? Have you seen it? Tell me what you think. And if you haven't watched it, from what I've told you, would you watch it? Would you watch it? And if you watch it, tell me another perspective. Maybe I'm just looking at it from a completely blind eye. You know what I mean? But I'm new to anime, and I feel like being new to anime, I wouldn't suggest this one to anybody that's new to anime unless you know their background and things that they like. Like if they're a gamer and they want to get into anime, I think this would be a great suggestion for them. But yeah, let me know. Write it in the comments. What did you think about Cyberpunk? And also, if you haven't watched it, would you watch Cyberpunk? Would you? Let me know. I would love to get in a good conversation with you guys about this. Also, if you have any suggestions, please drop that down below as well on some animes that I can get into and watch. Okay. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope I gave enough information that you can go off of. So yeah, I'll be back soon. Stay tuned. Be blessed. Bye-bye.